You don't have to cut this part out anymore. You don't have to do that.
I'm putting that at the very beginning of the pod, the cold open. Hi, and welcome to another episode of Dungeons & Degrees. My name's Adrian.
And I'm Alex.
And today we have a special guest. Special guest, introduce yourself.
Hi, I am Madeline. I go by many things on the internet. I'm at InquisitiveRogue, all lowercase, on TikTok. And then on Twitter, I'm at Madeline K. Mason. I have no brand synergy because I like to keep people on their toes. But yeah, I do a lot of things. I do TTRPGs. I'm a playwright. I'm like a bit of a comedian. So yeah, that's who I am as a person, and that's a bit of my background.
Amazing. Yeah, brand synergy is a tough thing to have. Mm-hmm. And you know what? The people that want to know you are going to find everything, okay? Yeah. Those are the real fans.
I don't know, not going to lie. I like my real name handles better. I don't know. I just can't wait to the point where I'm like the Madeline, you know, like I'm the dominant, the prima Madeline.
Gotcha. Nice. Mm-hmm.
I have 0% of that. I feel like I have two different people in my brain at all times. Mm-hmm. I have like the eloquent mime who played World of Warcraft and just like ran raids on Destiny 2, and like that's one person who's still inside of me. And then those are all of my Instagram and those are all my social media handles. And then I have like Alex who's here right now. And she's like a normal person, sort of, sometimes.
What is normal?
Normal is just a label on the dryer machine. Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, it's...
I've personally played some of your stuff. What's it called? God, I just said it a second ago.
Escape from the Kingdom.
Escape from the Kingdom. Which was very fun. It was like one of the first like non-D&D things I've tried out. And lately I've been trying to branch out more and more so. So it was a nice stepping stone, so I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. Yay. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah. And a lot of this server I'm on is always talking about like, oh my God, we have so much fun. I'm like, you gotta, like, if you want to thank anyone, thank Madeline, okay?
Well, a little primer. I am working on a TTRPG inspired by the Cars franchise.
This always comes to this podcast. I don't know why.
I was thinking about kind of like the world of Cars, and I think it's very interesting. And I think because Cars has a very, let's talk about like lore and world building. I think Cars, it could be better, but I do think it's pretty good. And Cars does have a very rich world because, you know, it's like people, but they're all automobiles. And I think that that's a really fun thing. Like if are you like born a race car, you know, or like, let's say you're born a race car, but you just want to like be a sedan. Like, are you allowed to live outside of your like born purpose?
Your chassis.
Yeah. Cars is also almost like dystopian in that way. It's like, you know, how in, I don't know, Divergent, they're all born into the factions. Cars is a bit like that too. Like, you know, you're born a race car, you're born an army Jeep, you know? So I think that's what I'm going to hone in on the TTRPG is like, yes, you're a car in this car world, but what if you want to be a different kind of car?
What does that look like?
Exactly.
Amazing. The reason why Alex kind of threw herself off screen was because we I don't know why Cars for some reason comes back to this podcast because of was it you or was it you found a Cars inspired like fanfic or something, and then it was a whole thing, a
spicy fanfic. Okay, that's why.
Was it between Lightning McQueen and Mater? Because I might know the one you're talking about.
No, but it was Lightning McQueen and a tentacle monster.
No! Oh yes, my God!
He's trying to get like a checkup in Doc's shop, and instead is greeted with a tentacle monster.
Oh my God! Yep, it's horrific. 0 out of 5 stars.
Yep. And that's when we like, I don't know, it kept following us. Like for the next week or two, we kept seeing cars everywhere.
Cars, everything.
It was on T-shirts, it was on signs, it was on TikToks that like I hadn't seen a Cars TikTok, and then it just pops up. Like why? Why phone that's listening to me at all time?
Yeah, I want the Lightning McQueen light up Crocs for adults. So badly. So badly.
Yes, I'm here for it. But I, not to belittle your world building, because that really world building, because that does sound absolutely fascinating, of like exploring the option of how would I exist in a world where I'm supposed to be a sedan, but I want to be a race car. Especially thinking about like, I don't know, cars nowadays, because that's what my husband does, Michael. We have not lots of cars, but we have more cars than two people need right now, which is 3. You know, just to put an even number.
Exactly.
Yes, the even number of 3.
It's like your party car. You know, you take the third one out when it's party time. You know.
Yeah. But he's always like working or like watches videos on how to rebuild and remodel or make them go a little faster or make them run a little better. So I think that's a fun mechanic to play like in a TT RPG. I almost said TTU RPG, Adrian, since we were talking about tech.
Getting away from cars, tell me what projects are going on right now, or like the things you do around the TTRPG community. This is the thing that keeps you sane, you say.
Like, here's the thing. This is gonna just, I think, almost be belittling of myself. It is partially true. Like, I do shit post memes about D&D on TikTok. Like I love doing it. It's fun. I love seeing an audio and being like, how can I make this apply to the thing I love? So I do that. I also just kind of like comment on stuff that's going in the world. I like to kind of look at all the batshit takes on Twitter and just kind of break down why they're objectively bad takes. Just some real clickbait stuff. So that's of like what I do on the internet in TTRPGs. Big projects that are coming up. I'm doing a stream called Wine Mom Summer. The cast hasn't been announced yet, but I can promise you it's stacked. We're all in the Discord right now, and we're having a grand old time. It's so great. It's about a group of moms who go on a quest to find an enchanted wine decanter that produces endless amounts of whatever alcohol you want. The vibe is, I describe it as Mamma Mia meets Lord of the Rings. And if it had any aesthetic, it's like be in the world of Ella Enchanted, where it's that kind of like the world that you know, but it's applied to fantasy. So you have like these silhouettes of the 2000s, but you also have but then you have textiles and certain elements about it that look very like fantasy and medieval. So that I was rewatching it, I was like, oh my gosh, this is like what I've been looking for. And yeah, we had a watch party, watched Mamma Mia. We all got very, very drunk. It was so great. And yeah, it should be streaming in July, and then my goal is to announce the cast at the end of June. So yeah, and then I want to stream more games. I just love telling big different stories. And plus it's much more easier to kind of sit down and collaborate a story with all of your friends and sitting down and pounding out a whole script, which I still love to do, and I would, continue doing, especially if I think something wouldn't translate well to a TTRPG. So, but yeah, they're basically hundreds of little stories in my head that I just want to tell and that I think are super cool.
First of all, I just had a full-on conversation about Ella Enchanted, about how that was an absolute vibe, book and movie. And so legitimately, I've never been more excited to hear about a project coming out. I need it now. Like, I need it now.
It's so exciting. I have made no strides in the Twitch universe. So I have literally 8 followers on Twitch. I'm like, I'm gonna host this on my own channel, and a little part of me is like, babes, you sure about this, babes? We'll see. It'll work. Maybe I just have to if I do good marketing on myself, I will hopefully maybe have 10 Twitch followers by the time. by the
Ears
time
open.
Woo! Exactly.
What you need to do is just continue shit posting and like
I know.
just controversially get everybody onto your Twitch page.
I know. Yeah, exactly. So one day on Twitch, I literally just sat down, played lo-fi sounds in the back, and I just played Flash dress-up games for 2 hours.
Hell yeah.
If you want to see more nonsense, don't mean to plug my Twitch, but if you want to see
Do
more
it.
nonsense
Please.
like that, I'm Madeline the Rogue. I decided that's where brand synergy came in, where I took my TikTok username and my Twitter and I put it together. I exclusively play point and click Nancy Drew games and Flash dress up games. So if you are into that, I'm your person.
I'm your target audience.
I'm so happy that Nancy Drew point and click games are that having their moment right now. I'm very happy for them.
Yes, this is the highlight they needed. They're coming back now.
They are. Exactly. Their most recent game looks like it was made in 2006. It's amazing.
Oh my god.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
What made you want to do Wine Mom Summer, and how has been the casting of it? How's that process been for you?
First of all, the casting process has been bonkers, to say the least. I ended up getting 100 submissions, which was more than I expected, maybe max like 20, 25. And it just gained a lot of traction online because, I do think, because even from an outside perspective, someone's like, I'm doing a story about this, I would get excited. My dad has told people, he told like my stepmom's friend that I was doing this and she got really excited. It basically, I think I've hit a very good niche and a very good story kind of in that area. So I think kind of that, and then, plus stuff just kind of takes off on Twitter. And yeah, it was just the sheer amount of people that applied was like, and these are people that also like I looked up to in the TTRPG community. So that was like a big moment for me to see people who like I super admired, who were like, I want to be on your show. So casting was, when I say overwhelming, I made it in the best way possible. It was like, I don't know what to do with myself. This is too much of a good thing. The idea for Wine Mom Summer came when, I don't know, first of all, I like to think that there's a wine mom inside each and every one of us. Like, a middle-aged woman who just wants to lay out by the pool with a sparkling rosé and listen to like Fleetwood Mac, and like a little part of us all wants to be her. She's hot, she's sexy, she's free, and she's doing what she wants. And I was thinking about that, and I was also thinking about there's a big kind of gender age imbalance in the fantasy genre, specifically with older women. I think I think the only medium that has kind of pushed back on this, I know Game of Thrones has pushed back on this a lot, and I haven't seen Wheel of Time, but through the marketing, I can tell that they've utilized a lot of middle-aged actresses in the program, which I'm like, great. But, I wanted to see more stories about women who are, 40, 45, 50, 60, adventuring, because life doesn't end when you turn 40. And I think, yeah, it's also another thing that kind of brought this about was like the realization of my own mortality and like, oh, I'm going to be 40 one day. That's so weird. I don't know how I feel about that. Literally, this actually got so bad that I would lie awake at night and I would just start crying and I wouldn't be able to go to sleep because I wasn't afraid of dying. I was afraid of aging and my body decaying, because like that is a thing when you get older, is like, everything hurts. You can't do stuff that you used to do. And I think that it's important to tell those stories because like you're still a person and you're still existing in a society, and we are very ageist in today's society. We value youth and beauty, and people aren't like allowed to age gracefully. Yeah, it was just like a whole bunch of things. It was like, I want to be a wine mom, but I also think there should be stories of older women. And then that all kind of came together with like, I want a bunch of like people who are like my mom kind of going on a girls trip together, and I want it to be done kind of in that quest to Lord of the Rings style. And yeah, I sat on it for a year and I thought about it, and then I really kicked it into gear like 2 months ago.
I have both been praised and attacked in this conversation, both as my decaying body, my lower back is absolutely killing me right now.
I'm so sorry. Oh my God.
But I'm literally yes. All of this. So I'm sad that I missed auditions at this point in my life now, because I do have that middle-aged mom lounging by the pool, which is fucking love Fleetwood Mac. So like, absolutely, would this be amazing? Especially, you know, having the dichotomy of Dungeons and Daddies on the other side, where bros.
Yeah, no, I love Dungeons and Daddies so much. It's like whenever I talk about D&D like podcasts or shows that I think are like god tier, Daddies is always at the top. I love Anthony Birch. I think everyone plays at the table so well against each other, and Wine Mom Summer would not exist without Dungeons and Daddies. They are intertwined.
I need it. I'm so excited. I'm ready. Watch us plug this like mad.
Thank you. It's literally, it is overwhelming, the sheer amount of people who are like just violently interested. It's just like
Did you just have this kind of like this casting call? Was it on Twitter? Was it on TikTok? Was it everywhere? Or did you just centralize in one spot?
It was on TikTok and Twitter. It was mostly on Twitter because on TikTok, I don't really know the people who follow me. And if I'm going to have people on a show and I'm like DMing them, I want to have some degree of like familiarity with them. I did put it on TikTok, but I didn't advertise it as much on TikTok. It was more because like, I think TikTok allows me to get a bigger kind of wider audience and maybe get one or two people that I may not have gotten through Twitter. But it mostly happened on Twitter because I have a lot of mutuals there, and I just felt safer putting it out there. And also, I have a smaller following on Twitter than I do on TikTok. So and people who follow me, like I know them. They either have come from TikTok to follow me, or they're people who I went to college with, or the people that I've done one shots with. Everything was just very condensed there.
So as well as creating this, starting, you know, streaming on Twitch with the point and click, what other things are going on? I've seen that you were doing a bunch of DM sessions at one point.
Yeah, the economy sucks, and it really stinks being a person fresh out of college. I basically just did like DMing for money because I really needed money. I was like, I need money. I'm like scraping to get by. I need to be able to pay for my groceries, and I was working at this horrible escape room, and I was like, I need to supplement this, but how? And then I just ended up doing a bunch of kind of DMing sessions. I would look for one shots that I really liked, and I would do them. It all started with kind of lower level games to help people learn how to play, but then it just became like people just want to play and they want a DM to play with, you know. And it just ended up kind of me filling a need that was there. And now kind of because of that, I am doing a long running pay to play game in like that Discord I set up. We're doing Lost Mine of Phandelver. We're ending the actual Phandelver module right now, and then we're going to go into essentially kind of like an original story, taking all of their backstories and all of the lore that they've given to me about their characters, and creating something really big and cosmic, which I'm very excited about. And then through actually start playing games, because I was just like advertising myself on there, I met another person who was like, hey, we have these characters that we really love and we want to continue with them. And now I'm running a horror campaign set in the world of Ravenloft, which I'm really excited about because I'm not super familiar with Ravenloft. And this is my journey into it, and I'm having a really, really great time. And it's spooky, it's fun, it's great. We're all having fun. But yeah, it primarily just started as like I needed money, and I knew that I could throw a pretty good one-shot time. I could, help everyone get used to the mechanics of the game, and also people just want to play. And if you have it set up so it's like cheap, like, hey, $5, you got a seat at the table, make it flexible, or hey, if you want to give more, go ahead. It just turned out to be a model that worked decently well.
So how did you get into TTRPGs?
So I'm a theater kid. I think that needs to be stated, is that without like my background in theater, I probably wouldn't be doing TTRPGs. I was getting a BFA in theater arts in Chicago, and it was 2020. I was about to graduate. I knocked in 2 major projects literally just as COVID hit. So like, shout out to that though. I was directing a Chicago premiere, and then I wrote a play and mounted it for my capstone. So all that happened, then COVID happened, and I was like, oh, okay, great. A lot of just Zoom stuff was happening. I was trying to do Zoom theater, but Zoom theater just sucks. It's not fun. No one enjoys it. And then for 2 weeks, I was living with my dear friend, Abby, who I met my freshman year in I kid you not, like a ghost class. It was like a ghost class. We learned about ghosts. It was great. And that's how we met. And we're friends now. So I lived with them for 2 weeks because I had just a really bad roommate during that time. And it was the best 2 weeks. And kind of during that time, I just asked Abby a lot about like D&D specifically. And Abby like talked about how they ran their own games and told me a little bit about Critical Role, which like I still do not understand the vast lore of Critical Role. Like that's I'll get into it maybe later when I'm 30. Who knows if it will still be going by then. I'm sorry, I have no time. And then I moved home, and let's like put a pin in Abby being a DM and kind of getting me into this world. I love college humor. I have wanted to like work for them. I love the work they do. Like I would give an arm and a leg to be a writer or a performer for college humor. And when they announced that they were going under in February, I was so depressed. I was like, my dreams are dead. My dreams will never happen. And then I saw Dropout, and I was like, okay, I'll just, check out Dropout. And I saw that they had Dimension 20, and I asked Abby about it, and Abby was like, Dimensions 20 is great. So I watched it. I watched Fantasy High, and I was like, oh, this is what it can be. This is what this game can be. Because all I really knew, because I don't even like the fantasy genre. Like, I find it very boring. I don't like lore dumps. I don't like gorgeous painted scenery. I don't like the fantasy genre and its tropes. And for my first introduction to D&D, to be a world that was super familiar to me, but with these elements of like magic added in, I think was a big reason as to why. And then I like binged every single season of Dimension 20, and yeah, and now I'm here. I'm here. I just kind of blinked, and all of a sudden I'm here. So yeah, it was a mix of just, the pandemic, staying with Abby for a little bit, and discovering that College Humor was doing a D&D show. And it just felt like the right place to put kind of all of this theatrical knowledge and training that I had. It felt like the right vessel for it.
And I feel terrible because I didn't think until this very moment, like, how detrimental graduating with a BFA in the middle of a pandemic, how awful that would be. And I am so sorry, because that sucks.
Okay. I'm not gonna lie, I'm still very mad and very, very angry. It's not great. It's not great. I was supposed to do the Disney College program, and then it didn't happen. It's fine. Yeah, no, literally, like, I'm still mad. It's one of those things I think I'm probably going to be mad about for a long time, because just a series of people in power fucked up my life. People in power allowed for oh God, I don't mean to get very political, and please stop me if you don't want me to be
Do
too
it.
political. I
Go for it.
basically, the people in power didn't take it seriously, and because of that, we're all going to be suffering the ramifications for this, probably for, I'll be very generous, the next like 5 years or so. I wouldn't be surprised if it takes us maybe like half a century to really kind of overcome the damage that the presidency during the pandemic did.
Yeah, and even just not, us as like a whole, but like the very few who have been personally already injured are going to be just for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, it's awful. It really is, and it's just, we think the end's in sight, but then it turns out it's not. And yeah, I really do fear for the future of like us as a people, because I think the pandemic just has exposed how A, divided the nation is, and B, how weak the healthcare system is, and then C, the people we don't care about. So yeah, like I said, I don't mean to be political, but it's the pandemic really fucked me over, and I'm forever going to be mad that the powers that be did nothing.
I feel that because I did the Disney College program in 2010. And so, as much as Disney now, I sometimes roll my eyes and sigh at it because people have different ways of leadership. We'll just say that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
People have different ways. I don't necessarily think as a consumer that would be the way that I would treat my anyways.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
All the lines being read.
I'm sorry. I can't believe you're making an episode exclusively for Disney adults right now.
It was only a matter
of time before we hijacked it.
I am the Disneyest. The Disney College program itself was such a changing, like a life-changing experience. It was not great because we know
it's a Disney College program. It's yeah, especially like, I don't know if it's like better or worse depending if you're in like Anaheim or Orlando. I honestly don't know.
I was in Orlando.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
And
I'm so sorry.
I worked because there's no overtime.
Yep.
You just get paid the same hourly rate. And it doesn't matter how long you've been there. So I worked all of Christmas Eve, and then I worked like 12 hours Christmas Eve, and then I like was 12 hours again on Christmas Day, which is fair. Look, that's fine with me. As a young college student who just loved Disney and just wanted to be there and have the experience, I can do that. But I remember accidentally hitting the emergency stop button because I was exhausted on my ride, which doesn't bode well for like the overall health of like people who work there full time, right? So I'm saying all of that. It was such a good experience, and my heart hurts for you because I know, especially as a performer, seeing the way that performances are run there, both with character meet and greets or just like parade routes and the stage shows, like there's so much as a performer that you can gain while going and seeing it from the back end.
I literally have to know, what attraction did you work? I need to know. Burning desire. Burning.
I worked on Primeval Whirl and Triceratops Spin in Animal Kingdom.
Oh, the most important rides. The most important rides.
Let me tell you, I had buttons that I made because I'm a teacher. So I got birthday buttons sent from a friend of mine who lives in Florida to my kids so we could celebrate our birthdays. Aww. And I put the buttons up on my chest, like in the diagonal. If you go look at the Dinoland USA costumes at Disney, I put them just like that on my shirt. And I was like, this was like instant training. Look, it's been 11 years and I'm still putting my freaking buttons on my shirt the exact same way as I did precious, for 6 months.
Hey, some things never change.
It's true.
Anyways, Adrian.
No, it's all good. I need to let Alex have, the Disney thing, because Alex is a Disney adult, so,
It's okay. This is a perfect transition for escape from the kingdom. So
Yes, let's
It is
go.
the perfect transition. What do you want to know? Because I can tell you everything.
Okay, why'd you pick those spots in those rides?
Okay, so I I sat down with my sister and we talked about like which rides it was almost like how could this ride become evil and scary. And I'm not gonna lie right now, one of the, like, for instance, so the attractions, I wrote this game and I can maybe remember three that I put in. I know it's Haunted Mansion, it's Autopia, it's the Carousel, Small World, and then I forget. No, the Riverboat. It's the Riverboat. It's those five in there. I think there's one that I'm missing because I think I threw one in last minute because I was like, I need there to be more than 5 locations. So first of all, for Small World, I'm going to be completely transparent in that the Small World guy is coming alive. Small World dolls coming alive and attacking people is not a new thing. It is actually from the series The Kingdom Keepers, which I own every book of. I have read multiple times. I have been part of the Kingdom Keeper fandom since day one, and I've never left. Ridley Pearson signed the copy of my book. Yeah, so I care deeply about the Kingdom Keepers, and that does happen to them in the book. For those of you who don't know, the Kingdom Keepers is a young adult series written by Ridley Pearson, in which a group of teenagers become DHIs, or Disney Host Interactives, which are hologram tour guides placed around the Disney theme park, specifically Disney World. And they become a big hit, but it turns out there is special technology that projects the kids into the park at night, and all the Disney baddies, they want to, like, they're like, we hate happiness and magic, we're gonna make a dark park. And not gonna lie, the book is fun because you kind of root for the baddies a little bit. But anyways, in the first book, they have to decipher a code, and they're trying to find the letters for the code. And they go on It's a Small World, and they have the 3D glasses. If you get into the book, it explains the 3D glasses, and they're on the ride, and they're looking for the letters, and then the dolls start to attack. And it's, everyone's like, Small World is haunted. First of all, it's haunted by a nice ghost. Anyone who's a real Disney adult would know that it's haunted by a nice ghost. And second of all, it is not. No one's died on Small World. No one has died in the Small World. Not to my knowledge, at least. I think maybe one person has. You know what? We'll be actually in the comments later. But yeah, so I chose that because I do love the imagery of all of the Small World dolls kind of coming to life and actually just being like Chucky almost. There was just, delightful irony in a murderous doll. I chose Mark Twain Riverboat. Also, for full context, Escape from the Kingdom takes place at Disneyland, not Disney World. I actually been to Disneyland once and I was 3, so I do not remember it. But basically, I chose the Riverboat because it is kind of like a old school Disneyland thing. Like, there are very few rides at Disneyland now that are like, that were there opening day and have kind of just been consistent. And the Mark Twain Riverboat is just like, I don't think they're ever going to take that thing away. They might like rebrand it in some way, because I think maybe down the line people are going to be like, let's not like do Mark Twain stuff. No one really cares about Mark Twain anymore. And they'll probably make it like Tiana's Jazz Riverboat. That's probably what's going to happen. Like, let's be real. But yeah, it is such a staple, and it feels very iconic in the way. Oh my god, the last one is the Tiki Room. That's the other one I did, the Tiki Room. And I also chose the Tiki Room because it is kind of like a very iconic mainstay. I am a Tiki Room stan. It's my problematic fave. I love sitting inside when it's like 4 p.m. and I'm just so like downtrodden and I'm at my lowest. There's something magical about just being like delirious and watching all of these birds just like go to town. So yeah, I did that. I chose Autopia because I think Autopia lends itself really well to something that could be a challenge. So it being essentially like a car race, but in that kind of Mad Max style where they're all crashing into each other and they're flipping over, and there are mechanics for the race. Yeah, so that basically became it wrote itself, which is why I chose it. And then the merry-go-round, like, it's a classic. I love a good carousel. If I see a merry-go-round, I will ride it. I love it. I don't know what it is. They're so delightful. But I also love, like, I know it's in Ray Bradbury, Something Wicked This Way Comes, like the carousel is spinning and spinning and it doesn't stop. I think that is creepy, delightful, and fun. And that's why I put it in. Yeah, I'm trying to think. What are the other? I think I covered all of them and why I chose them. Yeah, I think so. Oh, no, Haunted Mansion. And then Haunted Mansion, because, like, it's the Haunted Mansion. Everyone loves it. You know, it's been there forever. It's iconic in its own right. And the Haunted Mansion does have, like, a built-in antagonist. And it works to essentially... because the story is very interpersonal. Like, the force that you're fighting against is, like, the entity of the theme park itself. So to have, like, one ride with, like, an openly antagonistic force that was, like, a person that people could talk to, I threw it in for essentially that reason.
Nice. That's wonderful. I love to seeing this insight and the thought process. It's always to me as an individual who could, like, always thought about, like, oh, make something for this or that, and just like, but how, or anything, or like, am I giving it enough, like, due diligence? I overthink, so that's my problem. So it's nice to see somebody do it.
If you want some more insider knowledge, I actually never intended to release Escape from the Kingdom. It just started out when I just wanted to make a game for my friends who I worked at the Disney store with. It literally just started out as that. So all of the kind of inside jokes and whatnot within it were tailor-made for those people, and we all had fun playing it. It was great. It was a really, really good time. So yeah, that's some insight. I never intended to release it. And then I also, when I released it, I found out there is a game, I forget what it's called, but it's a very similar premise where you're in an apocalyptic theme park and, like, stuff is happening. So if you want to, you legally cannot stream my game. Like you cannot stream it. If you are, be careful. Be careful. Be careful. The mouse is coming for me. But he's coming, he's looking, but yeah, I actually would not be surprised if I did get a cease and desist letter. So but when that happens, I'll just make the game free, and I won't make any money off of it anymore. It's really $2 on itch, so I don't know why Disney would take it down. But yeah, if you want to play, like, the generic version, I forget what it's called. Maybe I'll look it up and you guys put it in the show notes. But there is another one that is, like, a generic theme park, which is very fun to play, and I'm gonna shout it out too. So if you want to stream my game but you're afraid of the mouse, stream the other one. It's generic, and he won't wake you in your sleep and kind of, like, you know, nab you,
jostle you awake. Where's my $2?
Exactly. Where's my $2? You know, that's my Mickey Mouse impersonation. I can do a better one. No, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. This is not the time nor the place.
What was one of your first characters that you created?
I remember the very first character I created. Her name was Mags O'Farrell. She's a Lightfoot halfling College of Lore bard. It was for a one-shot called Wild Sheep Chase that my friend Jessica ran. It was how I met her. It was through a Discord server. And now Jessica is a player in my game. So, oh, how the turntables. Mags was part of, like, a really big family band akin to, like, the Partridges, you know? So they all had, like, M names. It was, like, Marvin, Misha, Maven, and yeah, they were part of a big family band, and they toured from town to town, and they played tunes. Mags played the bagpipes. She would tear it up. She would tear up on those bagpipes. Oh, and she was deathly afraid of chickens, which is actually, I'm a little spooked out by chickens in real life, so I like to kind of pop that in for her.
Do you find it hard not to put, like, a part of you in each of your characters?
I like to put a part of myself into the characters I make, because then it makes it feel more real, and it's like a theater thing too. Like, I am such a theater kid, and I think I am going to subconsciously do that. And, I'll put like a little desire that I have or something that I want for myself, and I'll either do it consciously or like little details like that, or it'll end up being subconscious. Like I made a TikTok about this, but a friend of mine was like, hey, I want to run a game. And I was like, I will be your player. Hell yeah. And then I made this character with a backstory of just like, she could not fucking win. It was just one tragedy after another. And then kind of upon some self-reflection, I realized that, like at that time I made that character, I felt like in my own life, I could not fucking win. And I was just hitting loss after loss after loss. And it just kind of manifested itself into this like Dickensian orphan who just could not catch a break.
Yeah.
If this makes you feel better, we have this conversation a lot about putting ourselves into characters or playing out parts of us that we wish we had, or just parts that, are just things that need to be explored. And it seems to be overwhelmingly everybody who plays D&D does this. And I was just thinking about this the other day, that like the 1980s trope of people playing Dungeons and Dragons and really playing hardcore to the rules and like having to do voices. And I think we have actually evolved from that once we all as a community look at each other and say, oh, we are no longer like this. It has a really meaningful impact on players. I mean, sure, you've got actually kids everywhere, and that's going to exist. But I think the numbers are on the side of people who want genuine connections and people who really want to have, I guess life-changing is the word I keep using today, life-changing experiences with their characters. So, like, even playing a little campaign, there's still a little part of you.
There's always a part of you, and that's also how you make the character relatable to you, and you make them easier to play. Like, I'll play a character that's just like the complete opposite of me in every way, shape, or form, and I just don't get them until I begin to empathize with them and until I begin to see myself in them, and then it clicks. That's also just such an actor thing to say. It's like, I have to live and see as a character, but like, hey, it works, and it helps me get into character. It helps me do phenomenal role play. So you know what? And it's not hurting anyone. So I'm going to keep doing it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. You're not going around punching stunt actors on set because you are method acting.
Oh yeah. No. Method acting is bullshit, by the way. But anyways, that's my theater school hot take. Method acting is bullshit.
I also agree with you with my no theater, but just theater experience.
It's okay. Yeah.
All right. What's your favorite musical?
That's a great question. Do you have 45 minutes?
We do, in fact, have 45 minutes. That's
crazy.
Wild. Yes.
It's crazy how this works out.
All right, folks. All right. So we're gonna start with like a. Should we do a 10 or a 5? I don't know.
Let me give you how I can help narrow down this question, because this helps from one theater kid to another. What was the very first musical that got you hooked?
Oh my God, Les Mis. Les Mis hooked me so hard. I was 7 years old, and my mom, she like saw it in London when she was like, I don't know, like a young adult, and she brought back the program, and I saw in it that there was like a child actor that played young Cosette, and I was like, what the fuck? And then my mom gave me a CD, and I listened through that thing like my life depended on it. And yeah, I auditioned for Les Mis. I did not get cast, and then I auditioned a second time in a community theater production, and then I did get cast, and then I saw it in London, and then I saw it whenever it came to my hometown. But oh my God, literally, like, I cry at exactly 5 different moments in Les Mis, and it's yeah. I can talk about how much I love it. I love the musical motifs in it. I love the characters. I would kill a man to play Eponine. It's truly one of my favorite musicals, and it's one that I deeply care about and just has a deep, deep impact on me.
So I just got back from New York, and that's why I can specifically ask you that question. Like, it's not necessarily what's your favorite musical right now, but that first musical hits different.
It does.
So Mine is Phantom.
You were a Phantom kid. Oh my god. Oh my
Let me tell
god.
you. But adjacent to that, right? For my first Disney, not my first Disney movie, but like the other Disney movie that hit me is Beauty and the Beast. And like, let's talk about those side by side. Okay. I need somebody spooky and maybe a little bit reserved, and maybe I'm okay with being kidnapped. Like,
the Disney movie that got me hooked when I was a kid, it was The Little Mermaid. Like, I don't know what it was about The Little Mermaid. I just loved that movie. I loved the song Part of Your World. I loved The Little Mermaid with every ounce of my being. And actually the first show I ever truly saw was that Julie Taymor's The Lion King, where they're all puppets. It's actually a wonderful, wonderful show. And it's not like my favorite musical, but it has a special place in my heart. But Les Mis was the thing that, like, it was the hook, line, and sinker.
Same. Adrian.
What?
Childhood. My cousin's first musical, and the one that she was obsessed with, was Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat.
Yes!
And those are weird kids. Those are the weirdest kids.
What
are the kids who are like Joseph?
It's the kids who have Donny Osmond as their sexual awakening. Those are the weirdest kids. Like, I'm not wrong. They feel weird.
No, you're not. But mine was David Bowie. So can we really talk about anything?
Hey, he looks good in Labyrinth. Like, not gonna lie, he looks good in Labyrinth.
We have a whole shrine. We just redecorated our house. I've got a whole like David Bowie section of my house.
That's great. I love that.
If I could dress up like Sarah, oh my god, and with a big white poofy dress and the hair teased to the gods. Oh, I think I would never wear another outfit. I think that's what you would see me in. If I had it, that's all you would see me dressed as.
Not gonna lie, she's wearing a Christine Daae fit. Like, you're telling me Christine Daae wouldn't roll up with those puffy sleeves and teased hair.
Let me tell you. The Phantom runs deep.
Exactly. The fandom.
Once you start...
I rolled my eyes. No one heard that.
Adrian, how out of your water do you feel? I'm letting
y'all swim. Y'all are having fun in the water. I'm just sitting here on the side.
They're called the fandom. That's what they are. That's also the Dan and Phil fandom. So, but there might be a little crossover there. Yeah.
Listen, I'm fine with this, okay? Y'all having fun. I'm out of my element, and that's okay, because I do that to Alex all the time when I bring on people she doesn't know at all.
It's 100% my experience most of the time. But now I really just want to keep writing modules that like follow the story. Since we've talked about Mamma Mia at the beginning, I want to just write modules that follow different musicals.
Honestly, like, I've been thinking about doing modules that follow different operas, because opera is very, very it's this, I don't want to be like opera music is niche, because like some of the most famous musical recognized pieces in the world are opera pieces, but like a lot of people don't know the story of the Magic Flute, or like what happens in Lucia de Lammermoor, or like literally I think maybe the ones that people know are like La Boheme, and then Aida, and then like the Shakespeare plays that have been adapted into operas. So it's like, also I think the Magic Flute would be a really fun campaign setting. I think the world of the Magic Flute is beautiful and gorgeous, and it's like rich with fantasy. Anyways, that's what I'm thinking about, honestly.
And that's a good idea, because right, all of those are technically public domain.
Yeah, they are.
So really...
They are public domain. The music is public domain, because like I think another reason opera music is used so much, because like all the music's in the public domain. I could be so wrong on that though. Like, do not quote me, but that's why anyways. But yeah, a lot of operas are public domain because they were written in the 18 and 1900s.
Look, then there's nobody attacking you for using their intellectual property.
Exactly. What's Tchaikovsky gonna do? Oh no, he's a ballet. What's Verdi gonna do? Exactly. What's he gonna do? Nothing. He's dead.
Got him. Kick him while he's down.
Nailed it.
Exactly.
I am out of my element. Alex, take over. I'm just gonna sit back and listen to this.
I can talk about more D&D stuff.
I'm completely
isn't this
fine.
a D&D podcast?
It's sometimes a D&D
look,
podcast.
We talk about a lot of mental health, and we do tend to kind of stray away from the D&D thing. But like, I think that's the beauty of us just talking about whatever. Because like, yes, we start with D&D baseline, but like this episode I'm already editing was like, it takes a lot of type of people that play this to make it the good thing that it is. It's not just one type of person that plays this game. It's a multitude, and diversity breeds wonderful creative ideas.
Yeah, it really boggles me whenever, like, I remember in October there was a big discussion in the Critical Role fandom about we need to talk about how like white the Critical Role table is, and when that was being brought up, it was like someone had, like, I don't know, said we should like we should try them for war crimes. It became a whole thing, and this isn't to the people who were accusing Critical Role and like their lack of diversity. I think that is important to call out, but when those things are being brought to notice and your response is to double down, like, you can't do that. You can't do that. And another thing I think we should talk about too is when one medium is criticized, when someone's like, actually, this other show that I love doesn't do that, so therefore my show is superior. I really hate that, because that doesn't do anything to work on inclusion and diversity. You're not helping the situation here. You're being a little shit. That's literally what you're doing. Because, like, I do know there's a lot of, like, Critical Role versus Dimension 20 discourse when the two shows could not be more different. Like, not Critical Role, but Dimension 20 is problematic in its own ways as well. It's nothing is truly better than the other, and no piece of medium is ever going to be perfect. We always have to try and strive to be as inclusive and diverse as we can, and to fix mistakes when we're called out on them.
Have y'all, speaking of a perfectly orchestrated mistake, have y'all seen the response that, God, motherfucker, why do names go out of my brain anytime I have
Team Phoenix
things...
Justin thing, or is it something else?
No, it's
oh my gosh,
else.
So much drama.
God. Is this going to turn into, like, like how People Magazine has its own podcast to just talk about celebrity drama? Should this just become like we talk about just drama in the D&D world? Just this podcast is.
Sometimes we can be a little cheeky,
Yeah, we're reporting on real world events, Yeah, but what's your thing though?
The Lizzo had a lyric in Girls, and her fans called it out, and she said, okay, and then changed it, and then that's it. Yeah. Just said, thank you for bringing this to my attention. It is now changed.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I didn't know that was a slur. I did not know that was at all. And it also kind of goes to show how much language is evolving and how some people just are slower to learn this new language than others. Like, some tables, for instance, I don't use words. I'm using them in this context, so I'm not being like the C word or the D word. But at some tables, I don't use words like crazy or dumb or stupid, because to people sitting at those tables, that it is harmful and reductive language to them. So when I'm with them, I'm also thinking about, hey, maybe I don't need to, there are better words out there than the ones that we currently have. So good on Lizzo. Oh my God, good on Lizzo.
I love that. I mean, that's something we gotta take in. Like, we mess up, we gotta fix it. This can't be like, no, you're wrong.
Yeah, it's like you can't double down. You can't double down. But at the same time, like, Lizzo didn't know. You know.
And there's like a lot of people involved in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
So that's still like a lot of people didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
And it really could have been a moment of, I'm going to fight for me and my team because we're going to live in whatever ignorance.
Mm-hmm.
Or, okay, thank you. And then I changed it. And then it became, you know, it's a big deal now because she did it without any fighting. But like, and nobody continued to drag her down. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's the other side of it, that I think sometimes we can be really toxic as a culture and say, well, you didn't fix it fast enough, or you didn't do it X, Y, and Z way. So,
yeah,
right.
It's true.
And then canceling.
Yeah, I feel very weird about cancel culture because it is really important to hold people accountable and to let them know when they've messed up. But at the same time, I'm like, it also crosses into a fine line of like, who are we canceling and does it do anything? Spoiler alert, most of the time it doesn't do anything. Like, I wouldn't be surprised. I guess, like, for context of the audience, like, we're recording this around, like, the time of the Satine Phoenix Jameson Stone news, and I would not be surprised in 5 years if they kind of make a full-fledged return back into this community. I would not be surprised because, like, let's think about the track record of comedians who have been canceled but still have flourishing careers. Like, Louis C.K. is still on tour.
He won something, too, recently.
Oh, yeah, he won a Grammy.
Yep.
Yeah, he won a Grammy.
It's fine. This is fine. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly. We're in the bad place.
We're in the best timeline. Right.
Okay, let's put some positivity out. Maybe we are in the best timeline. Okay, maybe we are in the best timeline. We just need to pour one out for those of you who are not in the best timeline, because if this is the best timeline for me, then the other Alexes are not having a great time.
Oh yeah, no, if this is the best timeline, I'm genuinely scared for what's happening at the other ones, you know? So yeah. Yeah. What's happening there?
All right, let's we're at the hour mark. Let's just turn this up. Let's turn this around. Let's think positive.
Oh my god, I don't know what to do now. I'm like, because you know how when you talk for long periods of time, your brain just kind of goes like,
yeah.
And that's how we get other episodes, and it's okay. We can just come back another time.
So we can wrap it up. Do you want to plug anything? This is a good time for it.
Sure. I get stoked for Wine Mom Summer, y'all. Get stoked. It's really, I'm really excited. Like I said, the cast is stacked. It'll be announced soon, and y'all will lose your minds. So pay attention. All the information for that will mainly be on my Twitter because I'm just trying to grow my Twitter right now. You can check me at Madeline K. Mason, and my first name is spelled Madeleine, the letter K, Mason. All one word. I want to be Twitter famous. No, but that is it. I'm a playwright. You can check out my plays on New Play Exchange, and if you're interested in performing them, like, hit me up. I would like to make most of my living as a playwright, and we'll see if that happens. And then follow me on TikTok. I'm at InquisitiveRogue. Like I said, just a lot of shenanigans and tomfoolery over there. I'll probably be posting like clips from the streams and whatnot. But yeah, that's that. I don't know. If you want to give me $1 million, no. But
Go check out.
Put it out there.
You know what? I'm gonna put it out there. I just want to do more stuff in the D&D community. I want to be on more streams and podcasts. And even though my work is probably going to be very busy for the next 2 months, I'm going to do my darndest to make it happen. And I'm doing stuff with Tales of Initiative. I was part of their Tales of Misadventure series, but I had to stop because work literally got so busy. But I'm in their first few episodes, and then I should be coming back. So kind of keep your eyes peeled over there. But in the meantime, you can check out some of the stuff I've done with them, and that was fun. So yeah.
Awesome. Alex.
Yay.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to follow the scripts. Not going to mess this up.
I believe in you.
Is this like a sponsor read?
No, it's just our end of the thing that my attention span drops out about halfway through, and so I go rogue. So we're not doing that today. Thank you, dear. Fuck me.
You got it. I believe in you.
You did such a great job. You're doing great, sweetie.
Thank you, dear listener, for joining us for another episode. You can continue to join our antics on Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, TikTok, all of the accounts at Dungeons N Degree. Dungeon N Degree. There's no S. That's how I say it wrong. And that's why we had this mishap. We are also growing our Discord server, so you can come join us if you are looking for another D&D community to join. Be sure to rate us 5 stars or whatever the top 5-star, whatever the top rating is, wherever pods are cast. If you do not, you will never hear the people sing again. And that's just sad. If you are able to and would love to put your money where your mouth is, we would love for you to also help us out on our Patreon at patreon.com/dungeons and degrees. We have member benefits that include ad-free and early episodes. You also get a little insight into some of the behind-the-scenes things that we are doing. And it's just a lot of fun, and you support your favorite content creators as Adrian and I grow this part of the D&D community. We will also be donating money at the end of every month for the number of patrons that we have. And we would love for you to help us join that. I also want to give an extra special thank you to all of our current patrons, which includes Melissa, Skylar, Megan, Alex, Wani, Lucy, our favorite guy, and our newest recruit, Paige. Thank y'all so much.
Those sound like beautiful, gorgeous people who are so intelligent and smart.
They are, in fact, the most attractive people on this galaxy.
Oh my gosh.
Ooh.
I would say it. I'm confident that they're the most attractive people we would ever find in light years.
All right. Well, thank you so much, listeners, for listening in. My name's Adrian.
And I'm Alex.
Oh, and I'm Madeline, I guess. Hello. Goodbye.
Go have some fun.